Hi boys and girls. Today what we're going to learn about is how to name and classify different types of triangles. So let's get started. First of all, let's go over what is a triangle. A triangle is a polygon with 3 sides and 3 angles. So one side, 2 sides, 3 sides, and 3 angles. 1 angle, 2 angle, 3 angle. So if you look at the word triangles, T-R-I, tri means 3. So the word triangles means 3 angles. So let's take a look at this triangle. So each pair of sides is joined by a vertex. A vertex is a point where 2 sides meet. So here's one vertex, here's another vertex, and here's another vertex. You can name a triangle by its vertices. Now if you're saying, what, vertices? Well, let's look. Vertex, you have vertex here, Q, P, R, and together these make up vertices. Vertices is the plural for the word vertex. So let's take a look. You want to always label a triangle's vertex with a capital letter, and we'll get into why you want to use a capital letter more as we learn more about triangles. But for now, you just want to remember that you name a vertex with a capital letter. So you can name this triangle by naming the 3 vertices here. So we have PQR. You could name it PRQ. You could name it QRP. You could name it QPR. You could name this triangle RPQ and RQP. So these 6 names are all names that could be used to name this one triangle. So notice how it's written. There's a little triangle symbol and then capital letters, PQR. Again, when you're naming a triangle, you want to make sure you use capital letters. All right, let's take a look. We're going to do a little review next. In class, we spent a lot of time talking about lines and line segments and rays and angles. So let's do a little review. Remember, an angle is made up of 2 rays. So here are 3 types of angles, and knowing these 3 different types of angles will help us to classify triangles. I know that you're saying, oh, we learned more than this in class, but for this, we're just going to review these 3 types. So this is an acute angle. Remember our little mnemonic device? An acute angle is a cute little baby angle. It's less than 90 degrees. If we look over here, we have a right angle. Remember, the symbol for a right angle or a 90-degree angle is a little box right in the corner. And if you see that symbol, then you'll always know that this is a right angle or a 90-degree angle. And our last one, I think lots of people like this one, an obtuse angle. Remember our mnemonic device? Obese angle. It's bigger than 90 degrees. So it is called an obtuse angle. All right. So we're going to use this to help us classify some triangles. So let's take a look. So how do we classify triangles? We classify them by the size of their angles. So there's 3 types of triangles we're going to focus on today, and all triangles have at least 2 acute angles. So let's take a look at our first example. So I've already labeled this for you. Okay, so we see this is triangle ABC, and of course you could name this other things. You could name this CAB, BAC. There's 6 different ways you could name this, but for today we're going to say that this is triangle. We're going to make our triangle symbol A, B, C. Notice I used all capital letters when I named this triangle. All right, let's take a look at the angles that we have here. So we have angle A, okay? And we're looking at this, and we have an obtuse angle. So if we look at the angle's right here, and it is larger than 90 degrees. So if we remember our mnemonic device, an obese angle. So it is obtuse. So now, how do we label that? Well, you can use the little symbol for an angle, and you want to use a capital letter again, so angle A, and you can say angle A equals obtuse, because it is larger than 90 degrees. So we're just going to write obtuse here. Then we're going to look at angle B. Okay, it's already labeled for you. You know it's a cute angle. It's a cute baby angle. It's less than 90 degrees. So again, to label this, you'd use your little symbol for an angle. You'd put a capital letter because remember the vertices are always capital. And then we're going to put equal and we're going to write acute because it's a cute baby angle less than 90 degrees. All right, and our last angle, if we go over and look, we have angle C. Again, it's an acute angle. It's less than 90 degrees. So we can write angle C is a cute baby angle, acute angle less than 90 degrees. Okay, so now if we go back to our definition, it says that all triangles have at least two acute angles. Well, here are two acute angles. Angle B is acute, angle C is acute. And our last angle is obtuse. It's angle A. And this is how we classify our triangle. This is considered an obtuse triangle. So you could say that triangle ABC is an obtuse angle. Okay? All right, let's take a look at another example. If we go down here, we're going to scroll down a little bit. Here's another example. All right, so we have triangle DEF. So we would write triangle, if we were naming this, DEF, and you could name it any of the 6 different ways. It would be perfectly correct, but for this instance, we're going to use DEF. So let's look. So our first angle, D, if we look at it, is an acute angle. It's a cute baby angle. It's under 90 degrees. So we would label that angle D. Notice it's a capital letter. Angle D equals acute. Okay, if we look at angle E this time, well, we see a little symbol in the corner there. And remember, that symbol symbolizes that that angle is 90 degrees. And if that angle is 90 degrees, then it is considered a right angle. And our last angle in this triangle is angle F. And if you look at it, it's a cute little baby angle. It's less than 90 degrees. So we have at least 2 acute angles in this triangle. D and F are acute angles. And then we're left with angle E, which is a right angle. So we would classify this triangle as a right triangle because this third angle here is a right angle. All right, let's take a look at one more example and then we'll do a little review. All right, so we have this triangle here. We have triangle. Let me grab a pen here. We have triangle GHI. Okay, GHI. Notice again, I'm using capital letters to name this triangle. And we have angle G. Notice I'm again using the angle symbol and G, angle G. And angle G is an acute angle because it's less than 90 degrees. It's a cute baby angle. Okay. And if we go over and we look at H, again, we have another acute angle. So there's our 2 acute angles because remember, triangles have to have at least 2 acute angles. And whoops, sorry about that. And we have angle I. And we have another acute angle, another angle that's less than 90 degrees. So I bet that you could take a guess as to what this triangle is going to be classified as. And if you said acute triangle, you are correct. So let's take a look. So we have our 2 acute angles, G and H of course are acute, and then the third angle is actually acute angle. So 3 acute angles create an acute triangle. Alright, so let's take a look and do a little bit of a review here. If we look back up here, we started off with triangle ABC, and it had 2 acute angles and an obtuse angle. So we classified this as an obtuse triangle. Okay, The second example was triangle DEF. Notice that we used capital letters here. DEF, we said that D and F were acute angles, and then we classified E as a right triangle because it had the right triangle or 90-degree symbol there. So we said DEF is a right triangle. The last example we looked at, okay, was triangle GHI. Okay, we said that angle G was acute, and angle I was acute, and angle H was acute. So all three angles were acute, so we classified this as an acute triangle. Okay, so here's what I need you to do for tomorrow so you'll be prepared for class. In your green homework folder, you're going to find Classify Triangles. It's a practice. There's 4 problems on it that I want you to complete for class tomorrow. When you come into class, you're going to work with your table groups and discuss those 4 problems. Okay, and that will launch us into our lesson for tomorrow. So, if you are having trouble with this, please feel free to go back. You can watch this video as many times as you need to understand the goal, which was to be able to classify the 3 types of triangles, those 3 that we went over today, and to be able to name triangles. All right, boys and girls, well, have a nice night, and I will see you all tomorrow.